All right, team. Today's one of those days. Well, if you're kind of a newer trader, I would definitely try to focus on sticking to your game. Us experienced traders, we're rolling up the sleeves and getting ready. I don't know about you guys. I'm ready to make some money. The only thing is, though, what's going to be first? Risk preservation, capital preservation. But let's see what we can get into live trading today. Hit the like button. Who's ready out there?
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas lore, that phrase.
Good morning, traders. We're going to go ahead and bring on Ryan Faloona here, and I will let you guys know Zunaid will be out today. It looks like, he's not into the bank's life. Nah, the truth is he had to go get out his couple million in Dubai. So if you guys see him out there, he's just trying to take out his millions in cash, So Zunaid will be back, team. He'll be back probably tomorrow. He's just going to miss today. But you got Lord Ryan and I. We're ready to trade. I'm going to really quickly just run through my swing trades. Then let's go to the market with Ryan, all right? So first off, I do got some swings on. I'm short win from 108.38. Going to watch to see how we open, but we're already down there. Bids down there to 105.79. We'll see if we can get a little flush down at the open. I went short on some names because I've been trying to nail some of this turnaround, right? Morgan Stanley still have this up about 6.79% right now from 95.34. We'll see if the banks continue down today. Now, one that I am down on is MOS. I went for this one off of the big pullback. We had this big run. Now we had this big pullback. We're going to look to see if we hold 48 today. If we crack 48, I'm going to be out. There's going to be a wick here out the gates. I think we'll crack it for a second. I'll look to see if we recover it. If not, just going to cut out of this mosaic position. Now, one that I am deeper into the green, going to look to make some bigger green on is Valero. So Valero is an energy call out all over energy. I think we could start seeing some breakdown today. Look at this daily chart here for XLE. You guys know how I believe in the rule of three. Well, we had the rule of three. We looked to go back up there in the 90s, rejected that move multiple times. Now we get this first down action. And what I really focused on was this kind of bounce back, rejection even harder, right back down. So that shows me that we could come back like maybe 82 on the XLE, but I don't expect to see 84 even this week. So with that being said, I'm going to look to see more energy names start to break down, and I'm going to be shorting. On the day trade, I can look at maybe like a drip. Drip was something that we were playing on Friday. Look where it's at now. It's already there to 1638. So I know that a lot of people are playing bank plays today, and that's okay. But I'm also looking at elsewhere where I could play. Today is focused for me on oil to the downside while everybody kind of focuses on the banking game. We'll see what happens there. Now to kick it to my man, Ryan, and to take a look at the market.
All right. Well, unfortunately, not to let you down, Mitch, but I don't have a whole lot for you. So
it's not that type of day, right?
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. And you, in your opening there, I think you said something really, really important that I would like to reiterate. Today is a day about capital preservation. You don't have 100%. To make a single trade today. And you didn't fail. If you don't make a trade today, you didn't fail. If you keep yourself afloat and you're able to come back to the market tomorrow, you succeeded on a day like today. Obviously, with a lot of what's going on, a lot of the banks are collapsing around us. Shouldn't affect us in terms of just regular individuals, at least not yet. But as far as traders, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on here today. And if you take a look at the SPY chart, one of the things that you'll see here is I'm glad I've been in the bearish camp for a long time, even despite through this run, because that helped keep me protected. Looking back at the SPY chart that I've been sharing with you folks every single day, huge dip here. Looks like we found support at this 384 level. Now, this 384 level is this yellow line. I have it marked at 383.98, but it's essentially 384. And you can see how far back this support line actually goes to. This was huge support and hugely important when we actually broke through this before and set the lows on October 13th of last year. Or is that October 12th? October 12th or 13th of last year. So now we're at this level. The question is, where do we go next? We just had the president come on and talk about this, really didn't say anything, and then bolted out the door without taking any questions, which is seems to be the norm now. So I don't really think that is necessarily going to change anything. We got no new information. I don't really think anything. I don't really think that's going to have an effect on today. However, I do want to see how all of these instruments trade today. And one more thing, looking at here, we've got a VIX that peaked above 30 here today. We're currently at 29.56. Been looking at the VIX quite a bit. And VIX here, I want to see if are the highs in already, or do we continue to have more volatility? Where the SPY goes next is going to tell me quite a bit. So I just want to see what's going on here. I want to see how the market opens. I am not in any hurry to take a trade. This might be one of the days where I literally don't trade anything and just kind of watch some of the different levers swing around and change things. So just keep that in mind. Want to say good morning to a whole bunch of awesome people that show up to support us every day. Good morning. Hope you all are good. Hope you all had a good weekend. Looks like we got people in Mexico joining us now. That's pretty amazing. So good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here on the movers tool. I don't really have much of anything. Obviously, there's SGen, which was bought by, let me get this up here. This was Pfizer to invest $43 billion to battle cancer. So CGen shares are trading higher after Pfizer announced it would acquire the company for $229 per share in cash. So currently at 200, I don't really think there's a trade here, but buyout here. And that's the same is true for PRVB, by the way. So Prevention Bio, this is also being acquired here. Prevention Bio shares are trading higher after Sanofi announced it will acquire the company for $25 in cash. Stock's currently $24.20. So we really don't have a lot going on here in the movers tool. You'll see that a lot of the other stocks are going to be some of these ETFs that have to do with the market, giving everything that's going on. This makes a lot of sense to me today, and I'm not in the camp of trying to be a hero. One of the things that I did notice here this morning, though, is that despite everything that's going on, Bitcoin seems to be trying to trade higher here. We're seeing that here with the Bitcoin strategy ETF. We're also seeing that with the price of the Bitcoin futures contract. And this is likely to put Mara, Riot, and some of the other Bitcoin names in play. Coin might be a little bit more difficult just because of its size. But I think maybe we might be able to get some trades out of these Mara and Riot names. But we'll see. The other thing that's going on here, again, we've seen that gas in here, silver, a lot of the different S&P 500 ETFs. So we'll go ahead and see. Here's coin. Let's see what kind of morning coin is having. So was higher, was lower. Now it's back to even. So fun stuff here on coin. It'll be an interesting day here, to say the least. So again, what I wanted to go over or what I wanted to cover with Mitch, or what I wanted to reiterate was, just protect your capital today. Don't try to be a hero. This is a day where, who knows what's going to happen. And in fact, I'd like to lean on some of our more experienced traders that join us from the group here. If you guys were trading around the global financial crisis and around the last time banks were failing, share your experience with us. Tell us what you see out there. Tell us what's different, what's the same, things to look for, lessons you learned, anything that can be helpful for our community. Now, I'm going to be watching this market shake out here and see what's going on. I think that for trades, if we do take any trades, I think the ETFs might be real smart, because those are not likely to get halted and should provide plenty of liquidity so you don't get trapped on a bad trade. Let me go ahead and go through some of the stocks in the chat. See what you guys have to say while we wait for Mitch. PRVB, ARDS. Let's take a look there. On ARDS. Remember, PRVB is getting bought out, not likely going to be a trade there at all. Artis Pharmaceuticals, ARDS. This one. So this is a penny stock. So this is for you penny players out here. It looks like this is getting some action here this morning. Artis Pharmaceutical shares are trading higher after the company announced the primary and secondary endpoints were met in the phase 2A study of AR501 in cystic fibrosis patients. So, okay. We'll see if ARDS gets going here. I know we've had some success with some of those other penny stocks recently, so maybe this one will give us an opportunity here today. Again, I probably won't trade this, but a good spot there. This one is getting going. Let's go ahead and mark off a couple of these spots just to be safe. There we go. There we go. And then one more in here on this rebound. There we go. 74 cents. So we'll see. Got the V. It's currently right at its VWAP. So let's see what happens after it actually opens. Good morning from Tampa. Good morning. ILMN, kid it, best wishes all. I don't know what that means. So, but we will check it. We'll check it. ILMN. Illumina. So it looks like this is kind of trading up on really light volume here. Illumina shares are trading higher following a media report stating that Carl Icahn is preparing to become an activist investor in the company. Okay, so this could definitely give you some volatility. We've seen this happen a number of different times. Actually, this is in a fairly decent sideways consolidation pattern. Let's see if we can actually break above this 224, 225 mark. And that would give us potentially the next leg up here. Looks to be range bound here, but definitely looks like it's fine to bottom. So let's see if it actually breaks out of this range on this movement. This is not a bad one. Considering what's going on here this morning, not a bad spot here. Good stuff, folks. CMND, you said had some hype around it. That's Clear Mind Medicine. Let's take a look at that. This one I'm not familiar with. Looks like we were up earlier. Okay, and then how many are we trading on big volume here today? Sure, looks like we are. Just under 1 million shares, so about 1 million shares here before the market. Good spot here. This one could definitely be on deck here for today. So it's really have to hold this 415.4 area, and let's see if we can make another run at 5. This would be real interesting if we can get this going. It's pretty extended away from his VWAP too. VWAP at about 465. Let's see if we can end up getting back towards that VWAP here. Good spot there. Anything else out there, Mitch? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I can at least point to another area that might be weak. And one thing that I started seeing on Friday is that deer started cracking. I think this is very important to take a look at. Industrials have been strong for so long. Now we're starting to see some crack. So I'm even looking at potentially trading Picard to the downside today to see it come back down to towards like 70, 69. Cat has made a big run, now starting to come back down. It could fill in this little gap here to the left-hand side, which is below here, below the 222.67s, getting down there towards a high on 229. So you can see that kind of coming down. The close on this day was 219.26. So I could see that kind of closing in there. XLI is another way you can look at this. Industrials look weak right now. We'll see what happens out the gates. Boeing has been so strong, right? Will this just come right back down, or will it make its way to 210? Lockheed Martin was looking like it wanted to get to 500, now starting to pull back to support. It's not that I think Lockheed's going to come down fast. It's just more along just to see. This was the strength, right? This was one of the stocks that was trying to push. Now this is even pulling back. So GE is another one that was very strong, could fill the gap on the downside now towards down there towards 88. We'll see what happens in some of these diversified industrial plays today. All right, Schwab, of course, is getting hit, but no one knows exactly why it's taking so much exposure to what's happening in the banking situation. But definitely big hit there. I'm avoiding it at all costs just because I don't understand the situation. Whenever I don't understand something, I stay away, team. But it's to each his own. To each his own, right? If you guys feel like you want to trade that, well, by all means, go ahead. But I always want to feel like I understand what's going on. And especially when I'm talking about my hard-earned money, right? My trading money, right? I don't want to just give it up. So that's important for me. That's why I'm trading more of the oil stocks today than going for banks. I feel like if I go after banks today, I'm what? I'm a pig now necessarily, because the Bears already got in. Trust me, the Bears got in on Thursday and Friday. They didn't miss out. But now, are you a bull if you jump in here? No, I feel like we're kind of stuck in the middle. We could have more downside. We could have upside breaks. So with that being said, I don't want to be the pig in the middle. I want to be either the bear or the bull, not the pig. We'll find out what happens today. All right.
Couple of things here real quick. Jay Rice saying Rivian new lows as it lost an Amazon order for vans. And taking a look at the Rivian chart here, the daily chart, it looks like there's a lot of air under this one.
Can we get to $7?
If you flip over to that daily chart, there really doesn't look to be any support.
No, there is nothing there.
It also
all-time lows.
Yep, good spot here, Jay. Let's see how low it can go. This one not looking great here. Real quick, Lori saying, what about JPM? Well, here's the thing. If you believe in the inverse Kramer effect, you're worried about JPM. Of course, Kramer tweeted that it is a fortress last week. Remember, a month before Civ B blew up, he tweeted that it was a good buy. He tweeted late last week that FRC was a good buy. FRC down 60% here this morning. And then, of course, he famously tweeted that JPM is a fortress. Now, the reality is that JPM is probably the best in breed in terms of consumer banks. So I would be, of all of the banks, I'd be the least worried about this. But if you believe in that inverse Kramer effect, you're not sitting all that great here today. So I joke, I kid, but this is probably the strongest in the group, Lori. I wouldn't expect, I don't know what to expect for any of the banks. I'm certainly not a buyer of them here, but JPM, I would expect to be one of the stronger ones.
I'll put it this way. In my perspective there, if JPM would go to worries, well, I'll tell you right now, then every bank would be down, almost a destruction. So this is definitely going to be the best of breed. You guys see JPM just get destroyed? Well, watch out, team. We might need to be really careful. And I know that no people want to really call bank runs, but will that happen today? I mean, it's definitely a potential, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing with depositors being secured, like, right, those funds are going to be fine. And I think as long as that's the case, you know.
But what about the bigger money, Ryan? That's not secure.
So that's kind of where I was building up for. And you're right, Mitch. That's one of the reasons why I don't want to try to get into something too early. That's one of the reasons why when you were saying that when you don't understand something, you want to stay away from it. That is really smart advice. That's how you're going to keep yourself protected. What if you are flipping these banks and one of them gets halted and releases news and opens up down 50%? You know, I mean, I know that it's crazy, but it is what it is. Thinking about it, mentioning Roku, if you want to take a look at that real quick before we open, Roku had a lot of assets held by SIVB. There were a number of companies that had those. So it'll be interesting to see how those trade his way.
It's the good target for me.
Excuse me.
I'm trying to find out companies with exposure. I think today we'll find out more and more. And look out for rumors out there. Of course, the rumors itself could be fruition, right? Like it could pay out, right? The rumor versus the news, right? And so let's pay attention. We'll see what happens. I saw that Coin could have exposure. I know they had a certain amount in the bank. So look to see maybe if Coin comes down. And I know that some of these Bitcoin names were actually popping. So this could actually be an opportunity that they bounce back up, and then they could get the hit right now, like MSTR. We'll see what happens out the gates here, but keep an eye out to see what moves there. Roku looks good for a 60-50 pop and then a short. We'll see what happens there.
And real quick, stay focused saying, Ryan, are short sellers getting their money after the SIVB fallout? Well, so first of all, this stock has tanked completely. So I would hope, I'm not someone that shorted it, but I would hope short sellers took gains along the way. I think what you're asking about is because the stock is halted, what happens? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, I don't know the answer to that. People that had options that expired last Friday, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened to that. So that's a good question. Shorting is not my game.
All right, I just got out of MOS there. It cracked 48. It's too hard out the gates here. As soon as it bounced a little bit into the 40s, I got out of that one. I'm going to take a small hit there on MOS versus my full hit that I could expect to take there. I could have added to the position. We only had one add on MOS, so I'm just going to get out of that one. I'll stick with the ones that are working really good out the gates here, like Valero. Already up about 5% on this name. We're going to take a little bit of profit as we break through 127 and then look for it to continue here.
Real quick, CMND. It looks like initially here it did try to bounce out of the open, but does not feel like it has that buying momentum, at least not yet. A little bit of overhead selling here. It's holding in, but it's not making a run yet.
Looking for Valero to get a little lower here and then take some profits. It did crack towards 126.49 here, so we're going to pay attention to it. Nice little crack to start the day, but we'll look to see if we get right back down there, and then I'm going to start taking some profits on this one. Another one that's up big, of course, MS, Morgan Stanley, and I'm looking to see what happens there in Wynn Resorts today to see if we can take some profits. All right, crowd breaking out there. Someone calling out that one. Just keep an eye out. Roku already down there to 5650s. Looks like they hit that one right out the gates. I'm going to look for bounces in there, but I haven't seen it yet. Valero, let's go. We're back towards the 127. Going to look for that nice expansion lower here through that 126.50s. Take about 30% of the position off and then keep working it here.
FRC halted.
There, we're in the 126.50s here. All right, let's take another little cut through this 50s, and then I'm going to look to take some profits there in Valero. Nice little swing trade. Right in one day, we'll probably get to 5%, a little bit over that, maybe 6% gainer on the day. This is not a bad one at all.
CMND is bouncing here. So looks like this one trying to make a run toward its VWAP. It did kind of hold in there and then start bouncing. VWAP, I've got it at about 460-ish.
Boom. There we go. Nice little gains there. First profits taken in Valero, about 5.4% there on that one. Nice little swing on Valero. So with that being said, I can look at Drip, right? Drip's already ripping. It already went from 16.15 at the gates there to 16.75. Hope somebody was able to make some money on the oil game. I know that a lot of people are looking at the banks, man, but I think the trade today is going to be oil. Look at XLE.
I think if you don't necessarily understand the bank structure and situation, Mitch, I think it might be a best idea to stay away from that. By the way, CMND, great shout here by Becca this morning. CMND, the trade so far, we ripped considerably. Came off that, 415 break, up here at about 460, right back to its VWAP. Great stuff here on CMND. I didn't take it, but moved there right out of the gate. Nice job, chat, finding stuff. Even on a bad day, our chat out here finding. Give the likes here for yourself, for the community. This chat absolutely amazing, finding opportunities every single day. Jay and Voodoo, as two of our more experienced traders here, would love to hear what you guys think of not only the situation, but how you're actually trying to attack it with some of your trading. That'd be really, really interesting stuff. CMND looks like it was rejected right at its VWAP here.
All nice the oils, what's leading down sector? Energy. And so I'm at least glad I was on top of that. I'm looking at also WTI today to see if we crack 72s. 72 so important, right? We've been stuck in a range on WTI. We'll look to see if we crack that today and make our way to 70. Schwab halted, says Pat M. Very concerning sign there. If it is, I'll check on it now.
It is. Yes. It is halted.
Confirmed. That's not good. That's really bad news. Let's take a look to see if this is affecting other companies, other brokerages, right? You got Hood, IBB, right? IBKR. Yeah, they're down a little bit here. I'm just looking to see why these brokerages are going down and why Schwab has so much exposure there, but doesn't look good right now. Coin just hanging in there. MSTR today, that looks like it could get flooded short here. If it bounces towards 202, wouldn't look too bad for me to try to take it, but we'll look to see if we get a little bit of a bounce there. The cryptocurrency stocks that we're getting a little pop right back down. So just be careful there.
Yep.
If oil collapses, we're heading into deflationary territory and forever QE. No, the thing is, I feel like oil's collapsing because of recession concerns. So if recession concerns come, what happens usually? Demand drops, right? And so I think that that's what you're seeing in oil. But hey, take everything I say with a grain of salt, right? If you see it later on CNBC, well, you'll get your confirmation, right? I have a feeling you'll see later in the day, you'll see recession concerns. That's why oil's going down. We'll find out.
And real quick, I'm seeing on Twitter several people mentioning that their brokers are having trouble. I see one person mentioning here that their Thinkorswim crashed. Mine seems to be okay this morning, but I am backing off of it. I'm not trying to actively trade these prints, so maybe that's why. Just be careful out there. That happens sometimes. And by the way, Mitch, the two halt reasons, was this FRC being open again? Let's see. Yeah, FRC's open. So I didn't have halt reasons listed on the FRC or the Schwab halt, but with FRC being open, I've got to imagine it was probably a volatility halt.
Yeah, going to see if that moves there. FAZ moving strong here out the gates. That hasn't pulled back at all. So be careful out there, team. We'll find out what happens today. I might add to win here.
Yeah, you guys saying your toss is working. So is mine. So I'm just saying some of the reports that I'm seeing out there just don't. I mean that sucks. But losing a trade because your broker fails you, that really.
All
So I
right,
don't want that to happen to anybody.
added to my win short team. I usually don't add, but I'm feeling high conviction, so I'm going to hold break even on the rest, which is 107.70s, just slightly above here. This is where my entry would be. We haven't even touched that pricing today. We're hanging right off of VWAP, so I took my shot there to add and then take this down. So we'll see what happens on win, but trying to take it down there.
UNCY did bounce off that 230. Good shout here by the chat. Bounced right back to VWAP. Got about 15 cents on this. I'm a little late. Good to see the expanding volume here. Let's see what happens. And it looked like CMND was trying to push away from its VWAP. Looks like it's not able to do that right now. FRC halted again. That definitely looks like volatility.
SRT 8 with a nice win, talking about he shorted Meta for the swing. That's down 75 20s. Nice little move there, and Meta out the gates here. Nailed it. Doesn't look too bad, team. You are filling in the gap here, so watch once you fill this gap around, let's say 174.53s. But we're almost there, 175.17s. That's where I could see it stopping around and at least getting a little bounce. We'll find out if that happens. 174.53. There's win now coming back down towards the 106. So I like that ad there. Going to try to take down win on a swing. And let's go looking at GE. Talked about that right out the gates there. Before we started, look at GE, already down about 2%. I'm looking for bounces to get short on GE or Honeywell. Honeywell's another way that I could go after, but Honeywell's already pulled back a significant amount. We'll see if Deere gets the flush now. It's right on VWAP. And to mention that, look at CAT, right slightly above VWAP. We'll look to see if these come on a takedown. SPY overall is down there to 380, man. Destruction, right? I mean, for all those bulls out there that were saying that we were in a bull market, I don't know what they were seeing, man.
I'm glad I stayed bearish. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I was short-term bullish on certain moves, but that long run, I stayed bearish because I knew there was still a lot of headwinds out there and we could run into some issues. Well, there you have it. Now we're running into some financial instability, and that can clearly change up everything. AAL airlines look like a good short. It's still coming down today. This could come down to a level that I might be able to invest in these airlines, but it's going to be at a much cheaper rate.
Bank of Hawaii has been halted. Down 31% here.
Yeah, the oil names, I wish I could grab more. Let's just put it this way. I want more, but I'm going to look for pops to get short on those.
Halted down 38%.
Zion Bank. So now we're getting more and more. That's not halted just yet for me. It was halted. I think it opened up.
Voodoo, thank you very much for sharing this. When I was asking about, how you're actually trading this, what you're looking for in the environment we find ourselves in, Voodoo saying, I'll watch the dip buying into regionals, the knife catchers, then look to pick off the weakest. It worked in 2008 and history repeats. So there you go. Voodoo drawing on his experience from the 2008 market conditions and then reapplying them here. That's something that I was hoping that someone that has traded through this was going to be able to share that. That was a period before I was actively trading. Of course, I was reading about what was going on in the news, but I was not an active market participant at that time. So just trying to gather that from other experienced traders. Thank you very much for sharing. Voodoo?
We'll see what happens there, team. Just to put it in perspective, last time on Fast that this happened, that leverage vehicle went down 90% in the financial crisis. So I don't know if that's going to happen this time, but just to keep that in mind, right? I mean, we could see continued downside. I know I'm not catching any knives.
Yeah,
I like playing with knives in the kitchen.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Let alone on the trading floor.
I should have said that too, Mitch. You're absolutely right. That's really good advice. I am not going to be catching any knives. I don't need to be a hero here. I don't need to try and make this a risky trade or anything like that. I'll wait for stuff to bottom and confirm.
Guys, do I go on my own bank run? I'm actually considering it myself, team. I'm insured with the amount that I have, but at the same time, I'm even looking at my own bank today. Like, man, should I be out of Ally? I hear you guys out there. It's a tough day. And I'll tell you right now, as these banks get lower and lower, Ryan, another concern for me is long-term debt outlook for these banks.
Yeah.
And how's their profitability look after this? Right, Ryan? There's one thing like where the banks are looked at upon now, but if you blow up like 70% of your market cap, and now what you used to be valued is nowhere near what you're valued now, does the banks come calling for the loans also? All that debt that's there, right? The market cap going down so fast, depositors taking money out. There's a lot of concerns that could be coming still.
Yeah, and that's why, I think it makes sense to wait for this to shake out. Like you were just saying, you're worried about your bank, even though you're insured. I mean, Mitch, are you going to go withdraw your cash and put it in your mattress? I mean, no. Not going to do that.
The hard part is, where do you put your money, right?
Well, that's it. That's exactly it.
The hard part is not necessarily to take my money out. I can go take my money out, but where do I put it in? Now, a little part of me is like, I can switch it to JPM because I do have an account at Chase, right? You know what I mean? So that's another thing that I'm looking at. Well, I can change it to the bigger banks.
I like Mingo. Mingo said, this is a pretty awesome comment here. Let me see if I can find it. So are people using Apple to hedge this bank thing? A fair question, given the fact that Apple is actually green here today. Perhaps that large cash position looking appealing to investors out there. Becca's saying RJF really down, Raymond James Financial really down. I like Raymond James because these are my initials. Just FYI, just thought I'd throw that out there.
Trip back at VWAP. This looks interesting for me. I would love for it to come to 1625s here. Then I'll take a shot off 1610s. But remember, Drip has already ran a significant amount, so it could pull back even to 1606 here. It's right off pre-market resistance, so I'm keeping an eye on that level. I just don't want to get into it too quickly here, especially since I'm still short some Valero. This is kind of double dipping in here, so I'll look for the 1625 area. Then I could risk off 16, but I don't want to get in at 1650 and risk all the way down to 16. So we'll see what happens there. I am seeing some of these bounce, like XOM, Chevron, Oxy, right? Valero, even the one that I had, is already bouncing to 127. I'm at 133, so I'm not feeling uncomfortable about this position, at least Valero, but I'm looking to maybe add to some shorts. Win looking great for me, now heading towards 105. If that can crack through 105, we'll start looking to take some profit as we keep working on Win Resorts. Let's keep trying to get some money today, right? Capital preservation, take some cushion, and then I can take some shots.
Yep. Voodoo looks like he likes your trade plan for oil there too, so good stuff.
Yeah, my biggest thing is some people are looking one way, and I feel like that's a lot of times where you get another sector to break. For me, those are two sectors that are on watch today, energy and industrials. Will those continue to break? And I think that what happens there is what Dennis talked about on pre-market prep, where people start looking at their winners and they start taking their winners because they're concerned about what's going on in the market. So you could see just more profit taking in oil, especially the people that have had longer positions and have just been building and building and building gains. Well, they could be running towards that profit today. And then the rotation could go to some defensive names. So if you look, what is the leading sector up today? Consumer defensive.
Yeah.
Point something out. Let's keep going, team.
CMND still looking like it's holding its VWAP, trying to push away. I'm also watching Schwab here. Schwab was unhalted and holding where it's at now. So given everything that's going on, that's definitely a good sign.
The gold trade, baby. You got that? You got that? The nugget? You getting that nugget today? That's a simple trade, right? Don't make it complicated sometimes. And you're seeing gold, nice little uplift there. We were watching GOLD to see if it was going to hold 16 on Friday. Well, it's at 17, 18 now. That's an 8% move there in GOLD. So hope somebody was able to nail some gold. There you go. Where's my cheese? You get that cheese, baby.
Gemini, I don't think you need to be worried about trading platforms. If you're keeping your money with a brokerage, I mean, especially if it's a big brokerage, I don't see any reason to be worried about that. I mean, other than the market being crazy, maybe trading it all away. But no, I would imagine that that's probably safe. That's also insured, right? Those depository accounts are still insured up to 250K.
Honestly, at this point, I'm going to say speak to your financial advisor.
Yeah. And you know what though, Mitch, that's never a bad piece of advice. If you're ever worried about what to do or you're not sure what's going on, always speak to your financial advisor. Real quick here, CMND, again, holding above the VWAP. This is really the only trade here, potential trade. I did not trade it, but this is pretty much the only thing that I've seen here so far, given the strategy that we look for every day. We'll see if this continues here. Nice little back test of that VWAP and push off as well. So this may set up the rest of the day. Volume looks good here as well. CMND, this is a decent spot here. Great job, chat, finding something on kind of a rough day.
All right, about to get that 1625 opportunity for the drip. I'll take it if I can get it.
SPY trying to bounce here. Good stuff. We'll see if that continues. Could use a SPY bounce to really help change sentiment. I still remain bearish, but Jay Rice, short Lululemon. Let's take a look at that one. I actually think that could be a great short, despite really liking the product. What did you do, Mitch?
Starter on drip long.
Okay, here, Jay. Lulu broke 300 on Friday. Earnings end of the month. I'm short. So Jay, love it that you're giving us the disclosure of your position ahead of time. Looking at this too, by the way, this break right here, breakdown from the 290, it looks like the bottom of this candle. This sure looks like this wants to roll over. I think if you break 290, 278, definitely on deck here. Jay, I like that. I really do like that. The earnings is kind of a gamble here. Let's see what they say. Decent short setup here from Jay. I like it.
All right, team, I'm sizing into drip right now, just working my position, getting in there. I got about 3 entries. I have 1622s, can do one more.
One thing here, Captain Kirk, I have noticed you have quite a bit of hyperbole on a lot of the chat messages that you send. But I will say that if you're trading volatility, you're trading some of these VIX tickers, I completely agree with Captain Kirk here. I think that this is dead on. If you're gonna trade these, don't be afraid to take gains. Don't get too greedy on these. I've seen these things move around like crazy. I've seen these things go up, produce a ton of gains, and then just have that evaporate. So if you're gonna trade VIX, this is really good advice. Don't be afraid to take those gains off the table and lock that stuff in.
All right, trading here on the drip. Average is 1622. Looking to get final ad at 1602, and then if it wicks there at 16, that's what I'm going to be looking for. Now, next level off of that is 1580s. So don't want to see it wick through that 1580s.
Love it, Kirk. And you're part of the most awesome community of traders out here. Keep up the good stuff, my man.
Yes, squeezing, SPY, spike big, says the chat. Keep your eyes out there, team.
Tahusi, I think I'm pronouncing that right. Maybe I'm not. How can you trade UVXY? UVXY is just an exchange traded fund, so your broker should allow you to trade that. It's VIX that you can't actually trade.
All right, final ad there in the drip. Now we'll look for it to work its way back to 1650s on the VWAP. We'll see what happens there. Support coming in. Now let's see if the drip can actually hold that support and make its way back.
Looks like Bank of Hawaii was opened and then re-halted. Actually looks like it bounced. So I think that this is a volatility halt to the upside. Looks like Schwab is halted. By the way, CMND going for 5 here. That was a great, man, CMND, this was it. This was the trade of the day here. 415 was really that spot where it kind of bottomed. We got that expanding volume here, went to the VWAP, came back in, went above the VWAP, back tested it, and continued to push here. This was the trade of the day here so far. If somehow you're still in this, I would take some of those gains.
Ripping fast. Yes, there's a lot of movement today, team. Expect it, right? Expect those quick movements. Watching this 5-minute here for drip to see if we can come back up through 1625s. We'll be in the green and start working our way to 1650s.
Yeah, IBB here and XBI strong. I agree. I think those are because of those two buyouts. What was it? SGen and PVRB. Did I get that? Let me flip over. PRVB. Excuse me. PRVB. Definitely strong here. Nice little moves in these ETFs. Udo, you're talking about H-band. That's Huntington Bank shares. Let's take a look at this. Ryan, H-band, look at the daily. Dip is being bought. Knife catchers. I'll watch this type of action. Wait for it to weaken for a potential short play. Okay, awesome. So you're giving us an example. Let's take a look here. Okay, so you were saying, look at the daily. Dips are being bought. So yeah, clearly they are, especially with some of these wicks here. Knife catchers. I'll watch this type of action. So these are the types of stocks that you're watching. You'll wait for it to weaken for a potential short play. So I gather from what you're saying here is that you're watching these stocks that ended up getting bought when the falling knife happens. And then when you notice that that's no longer happening or when that's weakening, you'll look to short this for more downside. So keep us posted on that. Let me know if I summarized that correctly. I'm going to take a look at the 15-minute on this one. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
All right, getting a nice little uplift here in drip now back to 1627s. We're at average at 1617, 1650s. I'll take majority of it out and then look for the expansion right back up there to 17. Of course, sometimes with drip, we get like these little kind of range moves. So I want to sell majority of it into the range and then look for the expansion. But majority of it will be into the range. Please discuss Bitcoin. Oh, man, that's a whole nother level, Michael. It's a whole nother level.
Bitcoin actually reacting pretty well here today, given everything that's going on, Michael. And in fact, we had some of those Bitcoin. How's Coin doing? Because we saw Mara and Riot moving around here early on. Those, kind of weaker names here. Let's see how Coin is actually doing, though. Trading lower amid the stable coin. Huh. See if we can get... Okay, so Coin actually bouncing here, right? So it looks like it bounced off its pre-market lows, held 50 pretty good. Let's see if we can get pretty much right where we were at on Friday. Coin holding in there so far. Yeah, Mara's chart looks very, very similar to Coin. This is just kind of trading around with Bitcoin. Bitcoin looking, I would have thought Bitcoin would have been down more today given what's going on, but it's proving to be resilient. Apple's still green, by the way.
Yeah, I think that
we're all over that.
That stable coin situation helped it out a little bit. I think there was like some $3 billion that was going to be able to get put back onto the market or something like that. It was a little confusing situation there, but we'll see what happens there, team.
Jay Rice, really good point here. Coin could squeeze as there's overcrowded shorts in here. So taking a look at Coin, I mean, obviously with Bitcoin going against what's going on here. In addition to that, Coin 21% of the float shorted, 2 days to cover. That reading is as of March 10th. That was Friday of last week. So that's updated.
Coin could also have issues, right? I mean,
yep.
I don't know. I wouldn't touch Coin.
No, I'm not advising buying it. I'm saying that there
I'm just
could be a potential upside move. And actually, Coin here trying to break above 55 as we speak.
It could very much move, right? I mean, it's definitely going to be volatile today, that's for sure. And you could see that opening action dropped about $3, now recovering $4.
Yeah, so Joe is saying, which trader really talks to financial advisor before buying stocks? Well, Joe, LOL. So, okay, Joe, so let's be very clear about that. No, you're right. Traders, especially people that like to trade, they're not going to ask a financial advisor about stocks before they trade it. But if you have a financial advisor, yeah, investment ideas, long term, I use as much knowledge as I can. So, yeah, I absolutely would do that. Would I ask for their advice before a day trade in the middle of the day? Nah, man, that's not where I was going with that. But yeah, absolutely on longer term investments there.
Yeah, I think it's also more about what we were talking about earlier, where like if you have like a lot of money somewhere and you're worried about it, that's what we're talking about more of. That's more of a situation that you want to get some experts in there.
Coin's
You
still
know,
moving higher here.
I don't necessarily look for traders for my financial advice. Traders can trade, right? That if I want trading advice, then maybe yeah.
Yeah. Market bouncing here pretty good. So SPY looking pretty good. It'd be interesting to see. That would have been a good SPXL. That would have probably been a good one. Take a look and see how we're doing here. Yep, then holding at 59. Nisei halted Western Alliance for additional information. Ticker WAL minus 78%. Saw that here earlier. Let's check on that one. Oh, Western Alliance Bancorp. Yeah, that might be trouble.
Yeah, that wall, baby.
FRC halted.
PAC W was another one that was really down pre-market. Don't know how that one's trading now. PAC W. That's down to $6.
Chiffon, good spot. Lunar, despite everything that's going on here today, Lunar showing a bit of strength here. Nice little volume expansion push through that 17 line, currently at 18. Looks like it's trying to do the same thing right here. So maybe if you get a big volume rush in here, maybe you can trade that same thing. Lunar looking pretty decent though. Good spot, Chiffon.
Drip pulling back here. Could stop me out soon. Let's go to the SPY here. SPY still pushing there to 386 now. Are the tech stocks going with that? Yep. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla. They're all going with it right now. Tech stocks going strong. Growth names going strong. Hey, Unity, Snow. Are we seeing the thing flip already? We're seeing that trade flip already. It's something that we're starting to look at. Morgan Stanley going up here. JPM going up here. So something to think about, right? We'll see if it flips. Lunar. CrowdStrike. Let's take a look. CrowdStrike up there to 122.46. Nice little move there in CrowdStrike. It is moving higher there. So you could look at CrowdStrike. I'd also look at maybe like Pan W in that area. You know, you can see that one maybe get some lift. There's Pan starting to get a little lift there. We'll see what happens on these names, but CrowdStrike not looking too bad there. Finally, a little recovery there on Drip. So I'm going to give myself another add here at 16 if it pulls back, and then we'll hold there towards that 1590s. Just seems like we're just dripping back down. So I'm looking to see if we can finally get that turnaround here. But the SPY is still pushing there. We need to see that kind of come back down. We'll see what happens on these banks. They're hanging in there on the day. So be careful out there, team. Dumb money buying, smart money will take them for the ride. Yeah, very much could be, Voodoo. Very much could be. NASDAQ at the 200 moving average rejecting, so expect a huge drop, says SRT8. Definitely keep an eye out on there. Tesla 1-minute chart looking good. Imagine if we get some hot CPI data. Yeah, don't forget, CPI comes in tomorrow, team. So there's going to be a big number tomorrow, 8:30. Will it change the outlook of the market? that's one thing that you need to be looking at now, right? Will the Fed continue to raise rates, even though this concern is out there? Some things that we all need to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, sorry, Mitch. Just joined back right at the end there. I got to agree. I mean, I think the Fed might be on hold here. We'll see what happens, but I think that this could definitely impact future rate hikes.
Yeah, definitely could. I mean, I don't think there's no reason why not, right? Going to look to see if we get that second surge in the SPY, or do we get the pullback here now?
Dot Square asking, hey all, did you change hour in US? So yeah, daylight savings time took place Saturday night at 2 a.m. We lost an hour.
Lost an hour of sleep, man.
You know what, Mitch? You're joking, but it is wrecking me. I can't. I don't know how you're handling it. You're up even earlier than I am in some cases.
Oh man, I just stopped looking at the clock, man. When you watch the clock too much, that's what gets you tired, man.
OCEA, great shout here, Jay. I love what you're doing here, right? Watching former runners here. Look at this OCEA chart. Look at why this is important, okay? This stock was doing nothing this morning. We got all this talk about banks going on. Stock really wasn't doing anything. And then as soon as that volume shows up, break through that 826 here, volume continuing to hold. We're up an entire $1 here on OCEA. Great shout there, Jay. Great job having your eyes open for other opportunities, despite the elephant in the room, if you will.
All right, team. Now just got to watch to see what happens here. It's going to be that decision time now. Let's see what happens. Little bounce there in drip. Back to break even for me there. Just going to keep watching that one. Looking for the 650 push. That could be a nice little push for me, but find out if we get it or not. A lot of rejection there on XOM around the 105.60 area. So just keeping an eye on that. But the SPY looks a little strong here. We'll find out.
Bank of Hawaii trying to bounce here. Looks like this is halted to the upside, right?
SPY still hanging in there, team. It looks like it wants to give another little push. I'd keep an eye out on those tech names. I feel like that's leading right now. Look at Apple.
Yep. Apple the strongest out of all of them.
A lot of reason for this would be the outlook of, well, if we are in real financial instability, there's no more interest rate hikes. And then all of a sudden that could give room for the tech stocks to run, right? Well, just keep an eye out on there. We'll see if it actually does get the push. FRC halted again, man. Natty gas ripping. Oh man, I can't trust that. Even if you told me, A-Rod.
CMND knifing here.
Rates getting some lift. It's interesting. Market looks like it wants a little higher here.
Bluebird Bio, one of these bio stocks. This is actually moving pretty decent out the view app. It'll be interesting to see how many of these bio stocks actually hold in today. The smaller cap bio stocks. Oh shoot, Mitch, give me a sec. I'll BRB.
By all means, man. By all means. All right. Let's go looking into the regional banks here. See what's getting hit the hardest. Down big. There's some names here. That's for sure. Woo! All right, team, looking around out there to see what we get here. Can we finally start getting the nice little drip lift? Looking for the drip lift. Let's go. See if we can get this to finally start breaking here. We're into 1620s now. Can we get back to the VWAP around 1640s? 1641. Looking to see if we can do that. SPY just hanging in there, team. SPY actually looks a little strong. Hasn't come back to the VWAP yet. Starting to get a little concerned for this drip. It still hasn't given me the move there, but it keeps holding 16 on pullbacks. If we break 16 again, just going to get out there. Don't want to see it break 16 again. If I do, I'll take the smaller hit versus holding it down there to the 1580s. Just looking finally to see if we can get a turnaround in these tech names. Pull back to the VWAP would be a nice look for the SPY and these names here. And then XOM is near the VWAP there. If it could get below VWAP, we'll be looking a lot better. We'll find out if the SPY makes that VWAP move and XOM comes back down towards like 104s. All right, we'll see if we can get that next step. I'm just focusing on this one right now, team. There goes Bank of America. Bank of America now pushing there towards 29. Yeah, it's hanging in there. Some of these banks are doing well today. And with that being said, that could turn around the SPY, right? There's the SPY going strong here, now to 386. I'm going to get my test towards 16 here. I'm already getting cut through that 16 here. Now I got to just either get out immediately on the drip. I'm being a little slow to the move here, so I'm just about to get out right now. But there it is. There's the 1590s. I got out and took a little bit more of a hit there for not sticking to the 16. The SPY just wants to go up here. And wouldn't you know it, team? The chop continues, even though things are looking like the downside action. Now we're getting a chop back to the upside action. And that's just how simple this market can be, right? Well, there he goes right back to the upside. And doesn't mean that it can't flush now, because I could have just got stopped out and then we get right back up there. So we'll see what happens in the SPY. We are getting some reversal action. A little bit annoyed on that oil move because I still feel like we could get a nice little move there. But drip not working out for me right now. Can get back in the name if I want to. But look how the SPY just comes back up and now wicks. Big wick there. So it's just going to be very trappy action today, team. Very trappy action. We'll see what happens in the markets. Still got that Valero. Could add to Valero, but I'm not going to add to Valero. I might go shorting some other names, some other oil names a little bit later in the market when we finally see that turnaround come back to the downside. But we are getting some upside action right now. Boyle. You guys are crazy trading Boyle. I'm done with those natural gas stocks. Those things don't keep any pattern for me. That's my hard part about Boyle. No patterns. That's not a pattern. That's why it gets difficult. That's not a pattern. Very difficult to trade that if it's not going to hold the pattern. Wind might stop me out on the pullback there. It's almost to the stop out spot for me. SPY just hanging in there. JPM just hanging in there. Morgan Stanley working its way back.
Sorry about that, Mitch.
No, you're good, man. I got stopped out in drip. And then just looking at it, the market's just driving the no interest rates like rally right now. Now the only question is how long will that last, right? That's a whole nother ball game.
Ooh, RLX, interestingly enough. So RLX had a nice move here through 260 this morning. We're coming back into VWAP. This would be something to watch. See if we actually bounce from VWAP and see if we get that expanding volume there again. Market's still bouncing here. Let's see how long this lasts.
Drip already coming back to 16. It's going to be that type of day. It's just a chop action.
I'm gonna catch up on the chat here from the stuff that I missed.
All right, team. We'll see if I'm chasing again, but I'm
FRC
back in
open.
drip.
FRC open and heading lower. It's going to halt here. If it holds.
Gonna look to see if Chevron turns around.
Oh, it dropped. Wow. Thought it was going to halt there. Sure looked like it. Here's your halt. It holds here.
FRC.
FRC, man, that was wild. That was a wild drop there.
Walls keep dropping also. So you keep seeing more banks drop, though.
FRC is halted.
See what happens there, team.
See Ally calls getting bought. Oh, it's just kind of a small one. Never mind. Zion bouncing. Just got here. Is anyone buying these bank stocks? Phil, I'm not. And one of the things that I've been saying, Mitch has been saying the same thing. You don't need to be catching falling knives. That's not what we're trying to do here.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of people that are watching some of the bank action with the attempt to trade it, but I'm not, and Mitch is not. Mitch, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think you're buying banks.
No, I mean, the only one I have still on is the Morgan Stanley short, right? I had that one, but I got that one on Thursday. So, I mean, I'm just keeping that.
Bitcoin, big rip here too. Wow.
Man, this market sometimes
it's crazy, man. It really is.
Like, how does Bitcoin go up on a day like today? Throw that logic, throw it out the window. It doesn't belong in this market.
Mara, a decent trade here today. I remember Jay said coin could be squeezy. How's coin doing? Let's check in on that.
Hasn't really squeezed, but it's pushing.
Yeah, but it's still having a decent day here.
Still decent day.
And holding
coming back down, team. Just be careful out there. It's just one of those days where we could have the top of the range, bottom of the range action, right? So I'm going to look to see if we can go to the bottom of the range now on the SPY, or do we just keep the green? Because if we keep the green, I mean, of course, you know what's going to happen. Some of these tech stocks will keep going higher. Now the SPY, will we come back to the bottom of the range? That's what I'm going to look for now to see if that happens. That'd be a move back towards like 381.50s at 381.30s here. We'll see if we get that action where we're just chopping between the range.
Looking around here.
Smash the like, team. Boyle gonna give it to you. Oh, man. Boyle. Boyle. Just keeping an eye on to see what's going to happen. I'm still in the oil game. I'm just focusing on that today, team. I told you guys that'd be my trade today. So I'm gonna win and lose with that one today. I'm watching it. Man, there's so much going on in this banking situation. I'm just glad I don't invest in banks.
Me too. I've never been more glad that banks are not my thing right now.
Yeah, man. Banks are not my thing, man. And I'd stay away from them all the time. I very rarely trade banks. Let's just be honest. Let's see how JPM's now. It's hanging in there. SPY pulling back there. Bank of America back down. Yeah, it's that VWAP. That looks like a little bit of a rejection from resistance, the Bank of America trade, at least on the 5-minute. You can go to the 15-minute and see a little bit clear. See how you went back here to these levels. If we could clear those levels, yeah, it's going to look nice, right? Like this little trend line here, where if it can go back to 29.15. Right now, the high in the intraday is 29.16. Let's see if we take that out on Bank of America. Any move higher than that, I think you could get the push to 30. Any move that rejects 29s now, I think we're back down towards that 28. So it's going to be an interesting trade here to watch. I can even put a big screen here to watch that. We'll see what happens on that Bank of America trade. Does it reject there or does it come through that level? If we break through that level, we could see some more upside continuation. There's coming back there for 29s, 28.96. Bank of America back down to back up to 28.97. We'll let it get to that 29 handle and keep pushing. Where's my cheese? Is like, man, I bought Bank of America the day before all this mess started. It happens, man. It happens to us all. Lulu covered some. There you go, Jay. Jay,
Already?
what about
Wow,
the
nice.
Crocs? What about the Crocs? Should I go shorting Crocs, Jay, now? I wanted to short Crocs on Friday. I didn't do it, though. And the funny part was I was only thinking about Jay. And you see, I think about you, Jay. Is Schwab still like messing around there? I haven't taken a look at it. There's a rejection of 29 there for Bank of America. Went to 28.98. Do we break VWAP now? That's what I'll be watching. A move to 28.50s could be that rejection there.
Schwab rolling over to the lows here, Mitch.
Okay. Schwabby. I'm just like kind of like just staying. I almost am quiet about this drip trade because I'm just looking to see if we're going to finally get some profits back. It's been a tough one for me to stick into, but I have conviction. So I'm trying to stay with my conviction. That can be tough, right? The market can keep can be what's the term? What's the sentence, Ryan, where the market can stay illogical,
remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent.
And that's the truth, man. That is damn truth right there. PDD being mentioned in the chat. That's an interesting name. PDD actually doing strong there. Good mention there, Jersey. So who knows? Maybe some China trade coming back. Let's take a look at Baba. Not too much there. JD's a little stronger. What you got,
and on
Ryan?
Lulu, I know that Jay covered up some of his Lulu short that he gave us, but Lulu also breaking that bottom that we were taking a look at, right? The bottom of the candle from January 9th. Low there was 289.48. We are beneath that. Let's see where we close here. Might be some more downside at Lulu. Awesome stuff, Jay, giving us the plan on that Lulu short and then executing it.
All right, the last hoorah for this drip trade now. we're going to get the turnaround or not. And we'll look to see what happens. SPY is bouncing off VWAP there, so keep your eyes on some of those tech names as they stay stronger than the SPY. Like Apple is staying stronger than the SPY. It's not pulling back to VWAP, but the SPY is. So that's still left-hand side here, Apple. SPY right on VWAP. Jay said he's still long on the Crocs. All right, Jay. I'll still hold it. Let me know when there's some holes in those shoes. All right, we'll see what happens there. Looks like the SPY is bouncing. Looked like we could have a bullish day today. Wouldn't you know it? No, I don't think anybody knew it. Could be one of those days, team. SPY is up there now to 385.30s. Going to see if I'm going to get a rejection here on XOM or stopped out again in drip. We'll find out. A lot of topping in Apple too, but it could just take the next level here at 151.25s. We'll see if I get stopped out in drip again. It's going to be a little frustrating because definitely giving up some of the Valero profits that I had. So that's a little frustrating because that was a nice swing trade. I'm giving up some of it with this day trade into the oil names. But that just goes to show you sometimes, right? I'm pretty much double dipping on the trade here, and that's costing me for sure.
Yeah, that market bounce looked like that's over. We are rolling over a little bit here. Some of these banks look like they're rolling overs to the low too.
Yep.
One of the things I'm watching here.
Yeah, like Bank of America, rejection of 29 again there. So that's kind of levels that you guys can keep watch. So JPM's level for me is 133.50. We wicked up there. We came back to hourly resistance up in that area. And there's slightly above there towards 134 also. So you can do like, I see resistance in 133.50s and 134. So you see that rejection there, a couple wicks on the 5-minute. In that area, you get back through that level, I think you could get continued upside in the SPY. But if we come back down to the low of the range, that's where you got to be a little bit concerned. That's a move to 130 on JPM. It's one of those days, man.
Crow, hope you're feeling better, my man. Welcome back. Saying Yuta, what a move. Yeah, that was a move. That was not on my radar at all. That's just kind of moved right out of the gate while we're watching a lot of the bank stocks here. Really went from 171 pretty much all the way, traded up on an entire dollar here. Now we're kind of flagging. It'll be interesting to see if we get the next move. Do we actually break this high? Do we come back into VWAP? This was a really good mover here. We were watching CMND, which was actually the trade of the day. This gave us an opportunity here. And then we're also watching the banks, but hope you're feeling better. Ron, looking at FCN. Good morning, Ron. Happy Monday. Let's take a look at FCN. This is FTI Consulting. I was not on this, but this moving nicely here today. What did you see on this one, Ron? Had an upgrade here this morning. Price target 240. Decent price target upgrade there. Schwab still kind of rolling over towards lows here. PLTR, is that moving here today? Up about 5%. PLTR, I've struggled with this one. I feel like this, a lot of fake outs in PLTR. Yeah, a lot of the, and you're right, Jay, a lot of the Bitcoin stuff at highs here. I'm actually noticing HUT on the relative volume scanner here again. Bitcoin's still at highs as well. Holding in there. Market holding in there too. Maybe we get another bounce here. Let's see. Apple's still looking pretty good.
SPY bouncing off of VWAP there. Still hanging in there right now. I'm about to take my hit here on drip and just call it a day, at least for the day trading action. Could see it stopping me out in a second here or not. So that's not looking good there.
Schwab bouncing here with the market, it looks like.
SPY trying to come back through 385s. JPM came and VWAP bounced.
So, Shafan, this is something that's going to get discussed. Shafan asking, are people trusting Bitcoin more than real coin? I think is what he means here. Has the banks completely failed? So I think you are going to see discussions about this. First of all, no, the banks have not completely failed. And I'm still skeptical that Bitcoin is going to end up replacing fiat currency and traditional banking just as a whole. I think if anything, it runs alongside of it. But you're going to see discussions like this, and it may drive things in the short term. I would stick to the fundamentals, or if you're going to trade it, maybe just stick to the actual technicals of it. I don't think that I don't think that the banks have completely failed and are on their way out for Bitcoin to replace them. No, but you will see that. You will see that discussion happening. Yeah, Kevin saying Bitcoin move is crazy town. Wouldn't touch it here. Wall halted to the upside, you said? That was just because of the extreme move down, I'm guessing. Yeah, there was definitely some buyers, right? So this went to 746. Looks like it bounced. And this is halted to the upside. Good call there. Fear and greed index is reading extreme fear, and you might be nibbling a little bit there, but yeah, I mean, for me, like I'm not necessarily trying to buy a falling knife here today. I want to do some more research and watching some of this first.
I'm back.
That bounce, that second bounce there on the market, not materializing. Looks like we're going back to rolling over here. You want the 10-minute chart on the Qs? There you go, Kevin. 10-minute move on the Qs. Looks like this actually might find some support here. We'll see if where this goes. A lot of crazy stuff going on today, Mitch.
A lot of crazy stuff, man. Just focusing on this drip trade, man, like no other. It's going to make it or break it for me, at least today. We'll find out. Find out, team. SPY is just playing with the VWAP right now. It's trying to determine, should I go to the bottom of the range or should I come back to the top of the range? We'll find out what we get, right? Look at that wick action here on the SPY. This is it right here. Look at wiki do that. That's that VWAP now. We talked about it. Will we get the move back there towards the support or a move back up through 388? That's really what traders are looking at right now. There's this like pre-market support onto 5-minute right here where it's like, do we come back up through this level towards 386 or we reject towards 381? You could look at it on a 15-minute to clear it out a little bit here. So we started this candle at 10:30, 10:45. We should have at least some kind of resolve. That's what I'm going to look for. 10:45 resolve, either upside or downside. We'll see what happens. Ryan and Mitch hadn't been in here in a few weeks. Soon as I heard about the banking crisis, I figured and thought to come and see what you guys were doing. Hey, welcome back, WK Harris. We've actually been all over this banking situation, and I got to give it a shout out to, of course, Pre-Market Prep. On top of it, on Thursday before the market opened. Before the market opened, team, Where else was covering SIVB before the market opened on Thursday? You guys call it. Look around. There wasn't many. I'll tell you that much. Pre-market prep, baby. Smash the like out there, team. Over 500 of you guys in here. Can we get to 200 likes to continue through 10:45? If not, I'm going to be wrapping it up here, team. We need you guys to show us the appreciation that you guys like live trading. Smash that likes. Looks like we're at what? Ooh, that was pre-market prep. Pre-market prep killed it today. They got 400 likes, team. They got 400 likes. Oh, are we going to get 400 likes? Come on. We're at 169 right now. We need to get to at least 200 likes to keep going, team. Smash it up. There it is, 196. Can we break the resistance of 200? Can we break it? RG says I'm long likes. He got it. There's 207. Boom, baby. We got it. Money in the bank. Appreciate you guys out there. Breaking that resistance. Momentum came in. Now momentum's coming back in for, of course, the SPY. I got stopped out in drip there. I'm all dripped out, team. I'm all dripped out. I got destroyed in drip today, team. That one's frustrating. SPY going higher. That happens. That happens. There's your drip trade. There it is. Yeah.
Good call on oil, though. I mean, you were on that from the beginning.
Yeah, but I gave up all those Valero gains, man. That's not a very well job there. Not a good job there.
Okay, good job. I'm trying to see the glass half full, Mitch. Good job on identifying something here this morning.
I'm still
always
upset.
Work on the execution. Always work to be done on the execution.
You know what that is? That's day trading and swing trading. That's why I like swing trading, baby. That's why I like swing trading. That day trading action, man.
Market trying to bounce here again.
It happens, team. We'll see what happens in Valero if it comes back and stops me out, but it is kind of moving up there. Morgan Stanley bouncing off of VWAP. JPM bouncing off of VWAP. Is the bank run done? That's what I'm saying. I know there was a lot of people scared today, but the market doesn't seem scared.
Rule, what's going on, man? How you doing? Long time no see. Hope you are doing well. We are trying to make sense of the epic bank collapse that's going on right now. Happy Monday, my man.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, team. That's why the day trading and swing trading, if I would have just kept with the swing, I would have been banking today in Valero, but I gave back those gains that I already took out. So now it's kind of frustrating on that Valero trade, but we'll find out what happens today. And like you guys said in the chat, could have been the right direction, wrong vehicle. It happens, team. Well, from here on out, I'll just let my swings type of work there. I'm going to let those trade work. And full disclosure, I'm probably not going to start swing trading today. So I got some family things to take care of. So I'm probably just going to miss that. But I'll keep watching my swings. I might take some more, but I hate taking swings when I'm not at the desk. So it's a little bit difficult. Will wind turn around or will it stop me out? Could very much stop me out today. American Airlines coming back. The SPY just staying strong right now, team.
Yeah, it sure is.
Look at Apple.
I wanted to see if this bounce was going to keep going.
Look at Microsoft. Look at Google. Look at Tesla. They're all strong, team. The market said F the banks. And they might have said Mitch too. Se fue Bank of America. ¿A dónde? ¿A dónde se fue? There it goes. There's that level that I was talking about. Back through this level here at 29.16. If anything, FAAS, the bull bank stocks. Who wants to go on the bull side? I ain't touching it.
So that actually might be a decent trade because I don't. I mean, let's spin this forward a little bit, Mitch. Do you think that the Fed is going to let a bunch of banks fail?
I think they should, but I don't think they won't.
I don't think they will. I don't think they will. That's and so now you're talking about getting an ETF, right? And so you're obviously that's the upside ETF, right?
No, this is the leverage. Leverage.
Yeah, that's the 3x bull.
Yeah, 3x bull. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say if you're looking at just like an ETF, maybe XLF would be a little better.
Okay, but what you're trying to, whatever ETF you look, let's put it this way, whatever ETF you're looking at, you're trying to play this for a bounce, right? Fast was $80 last week. It's 56 now. So you're trying to play these ETFs for a bounce. If you think that the Fed is not going to actually let these banks fail, maybe there is a bounce play to be had here. And by going the ETF route, you're not necessarily putting your eggs into one bank rather than some of these banks are going to end up getting bailed out. So if you're going to play the bounce trade in banks, I like it on the ETF side. You're right. XLF, not levered, probably a little bit easier of a trade to take.
Yeah, could definitely start riding up the wall of worry, right? I mean, Biden said today, you don't have to worry, right?
Yeah, he was saying that to the depositors who are insured up to $250,000. And I think that that's correct.
We'll find out, right? I think that's what
it's
a lot of people,
like you were pointing out, Mitch, it's the other stuff. Businesses that have more than that, they're not going to be insured.
I mean, Yellen can say it's not a bailout, but it's a bailout. It's just not coming directly from the Fed where they're bailing it out. They're just more taking over the banks.
Yeah, I think they're gonna protect the depositors, which I think is the important part here.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's kind of sucky for the shorters because that SVB got halted in the pre-market. Didn't give really a lot of people to give them a chance to get out of the trade if they wanted to take their profits. But that's just how it is, team. Understand this. I don't fight the U.S. government, and the U.S. government backs the banks. So I'm not going to fight the banks.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's as simple as that. They have like a fake wall behind them. It's artificial, but it's there. I think this is a bigger problem in the works, Ryan, that the U.S. can save any company and the U.S. can just come in there and just backstop stuff. I don't think that should be allowed.
No,
at some point, you can't just backstop whatever you want. You can't just be like, oh, well, I'm going to backstop that. Or pandemic's coming, I'm just going to print money and just do that. I think this is a longer term situation bubble that we're seeing. Boop, go pop.
XLF calls getting bought here. They're cheapies, but they're 1,000 contract lots.
I just kind of mentioned it, right? XLF, right?
You sure did.
There's a reason why I brought it up, right? Because why? Because what makes up the XLF, Ryan? It's going to be the bigger banks, right? They hold majority of the percentage.
Yep.
And what are the bigger banks doing? They don't look too bad, right? Bank of America, JPM, even Morgan Stanley for that case. Morgan Stanley's actually up on the day. Look, up on the day, right?
Goldman Sachs is down.
And then if you look at XLF, I need to look at the percentages, but I'm sure it's like high percentage. XLF, let's look it up right quick. Let's do a little, since I'm not going to take another trade here, I'll do it right here for you guys. So I'm just looking at the XLF right now, seeing what the percentages of the holdings are. All right, so it looks like the top holdings are 14% is Berkshire Hathaway. 10.6% is JP Morgan. So right there, just with Class B and JPM, that's 24%. Add Bank of America to there, you're at 30%. Add Wells Fargo, 34%. Add Morgan Stanley, what are you? 37%. Add Goldman Sachs, 40% of the ETF is those companies right there. And those don't look weak. So if there's anyone that I'm liking, at least maybe it's XLF, right? But I mean, you got to know what you're getting into. Know where your bottom is, know where your out is. I think clearly you can see it on the weeklies, about 30, 50s. There's some risk being taken.
By the way, for those of you that were asking earlier about what if some of those, what happens if you're short in like SIVB, which is halted right now. Well, here you go. You can cover your short when they put a Q on the end of it, right? So when they move SIVP to the pink sheets, that's when anyone that's short will be able to cover their short. Now, if you have options that expire in between that time, I think those probably expire, right, Jay?
See, that's where it gets a little messed up, but
yeah,
we ain't going to get into that.
Yeah, but that's options.
Yeah, that's options for you. Or what about all the people that had like risk management on this name to the upside, right? Well, it probably got crushed. Risk management's only as good as it is, right? And I mean, you can get the short in names. Let's just be honest. What's Burke doing in there? I said the same thing. What does Burke B got to do with that? But all right. But there you see it. You see those bigger names, and they make up the majority of the market on that XLF. So I could see that continuing to move, right? APM. Now just hanging out at VWAP. SPY just hanging out, man. The chop continues.
And here, one more thing. I just actually found this on Twitter here that this is really good. I wanted to read this regarding the whole bank issue. The underlying problem still exists. The Fed forced banks into the lowest yields in history and then aggressively raised rates, causing all of those assets to be held on the books at significant losses. Banks need time, a lot of time, for those assets to reprice. So some of this is not just going to happen quickly. It's not just going to dissipate quickly.
Chevron climbing back there almost to 160. That's kind of levels that I could short off of if I wanted to get some more shorts, swing shorts. But probably just going to work this Valero and just keep working that.
It feels like a soft landing, lol. Joel, I think this is going to be a hard landing, but I get the joke there. I can appreciate that.
This is the soft landing. Well, then if you feel that way, then you could get bullish. But man, get bullish long term on the market here, it'd be tough for me. All right, market getting dull here for me, team. So I'm probably going to wrap up here in just a few seconds here. And there's not much going on. Drip going lower and lower. So that doesn't look that great. Healthcare is back today. So financial services are working their way back. We'll see what happens in basic materials, how those go. Those are starting to bounce back a little bit. Gold trade was interesting to watch, right? GOLD still look interesting there, right? Look at that, holding the pattern, trying to keep going a little bit higher. AU is one that I was trying to hold last week. I ended up getting out of this one like for a slight gain, and man, it should have been one that I should have been holding from 17 for a while. Could have got a nice 20% winner there in AU. So definitely that's a miss for me. I got in there. I still took a positive trade, but not anywhere near to what we were looking for. We were looking for this gap to fill into 18, and we've been looking for this for a while. I created this on March 3rd. So to put it in perspective, March 3rd is right here on this little pop there to 1750s. We were already in it, looking to close that 18. It's there to almost 20 today, AU. So if you guys were able to nail some of the gold trade, shout out to you. Nug T, right? The bull gold miner, that looks good today. That came back to VWAP. That could have been a trade that we were trading. Maybe keeping it simple today, right? If I would have looked at that gold trade, could have been able to nail that. That's a nice, easy pattern there on Nug. Instead of going to something that's difficult today, going to something that has a nice, simple pattern, Very simple pattern on this gold miners trade here. Hope somebody was able to nail that. But definitely that could be hindsight 2020 on that end, but we'll see what happens there. First Solar is starting to make its way back there. I wouldn't get in front of First Solar, but I also shorted it for a little bit of a swing last week. So I understand why some people are looking at that. But I also was looking at SCDG for the upside move, right? Now it's starting to recover a little bit. We'll see what happens in the overall market. You're still just hanging out there and just chopping out. I think once you get through 387, yeah, you could continue going higher, but definitely just kind of sideways chop zone, bouncing back a little bit today. Banks are going to be the one to watch. JPM hanging out right around BWAP.
All right, Mitch, I'm going to get rolling here. It is definitely the first day of what is likely to be an exciting week. Still a little groggy from the daylight savings time, but that's okay. We'll get through it. We'll be back at this again here tomorrow. Take care, everybody. And remember, stay safe. Protect your capital out there.
All right. Well, I'm going to start wrapping up here. No Benzinga Live next. We'll be back a little bit later in the day. But definitely smash the like button. I hope you guys enjoyed the action here on Benzinga. Smash the like. We'll keep pushing through. And definitely keep up with all the action. You guys can follow my Twitter at MoneyMitchBZ. I'll throw up some stocks that I'm looking at later in the day. And we'll see you back tomorrow. Definitely smash the like, hit the subscribe if this was your first time here on live trading, right? We'll be back tomorrow. We do this every single day. And that's what I want you guys to go ahead and check out. And definitely, we'll see you a little bit later today. Hit the thumbs up and keep going. Like always, capital preservation was the focus today. And keep that going throughout the later parts of the day. We'll find out if we do get continuation in some of this bank run. All right, hit the like button. We'll see you next time, team.